Hey everyone, well I am back on the road and on my way back to Washington, D.C. I want to wish you all a happy Monday, and I want to just give you all the lowdown on what is going on with federal funding, the budget fight, and a potential government shutdown, because it is looking like we are going to have a shutdown. Now, I want to explain to you all exactly why this is likely, what the consequences are for our communities, for our country, for our economy, and for federal workers, and why the mechanics at this point are basically not in favor of keeping the government open. And that's because of this. I'm here at the airport, I'm in transit, I'm on my way back to Washington, D.C., and for anyone out there who's ever traveled to our nation's capital, you know that if you live somewhere that's far away, whether it's the Intermountain West, it's the West Coast, it's Alaska, Hawaii, it can take an entire day to get there. And tomorrow at midnight is the end of the fiscal year. And the president and the Republican-controlled Congress have not passed a budget. And not only have they not passed a budget, they have refused to negotiate. The speaker canceled votes today and tomorrow. And then he told his members not to travel to Washington, D.C. That's right. So House Democrats and Senate Democrats all over the country are currently in transit on their way to Washington, D.C. to try to avert a government shutdown. And the Republicans are nowhere to be found. They're not even en route. They're not even on their way. They're not showing up for work. And so while the president has suddenly 180'd on holding a meeting with leadership today, this afternoon, there's no reversal in their position. They are still planning for and wanting a shutdown, or they would have called their members back, because just the logistics, just the common sense logistics would say, if you were trying to negotiate a bipartisan deal to keep the government open, to save healthcare, and to protect the American people, you would have your members en route to show up to vote. But they're not. In fact, they were told to stay home. So we're on our way to go do our jobs. Now, I want to explain why a shutdown is bad and how it will hurt our communities and our economy. A shutdown is where federal services that have a lapse in funding get shut down. We know that the OMB director, on top of that, has said that not only will federal workers get furloughed, but he is going to use this as a pretext to conduct mass firings of federal workers. This is just like they tried with DOGE. At the beginning of this administration, it was found to be unlawful over and over again. The courts ordered them to rehire federal workers. In fact, just this last week, a whole tranche of federal workers were rehired after they were fired the first time. And now this guy, who literally is the architect of Project 2025, is talking about doing it again during a shutdown. This is what they want. They are trying to execute a shutdown. They are planning to use it as a pretext for Project 2025. And frankly, the president has been so preoccupied with trying to threaten members of Congress to keep the Epstein files from being released, so preoccupied with bullying universities and media conglomerates and members of the public, so busy directing his political appointees to go after his enemies, that he hasn't even managed to do his most constitutional duty, which is to keep the government open and functional. Now, this is not good. This is not good for the American people. It's not good for the economy. And of course, it will be catastrophic for literally hundreds of thousands of Americans who are federal workers and their families. So we want you all to know that we are on our way back to Washington.
I'm to the point where it's just like, do it. You know, like, do it. Like, at this point, how many continuing resolutions, how many scare tactic pranks, how many, oh, we're going to make it painful. He just came out and said, oh, we're going to make it the worst of the worst. We're going to make it painful for people. At this point, I'm calling you a bluff. For real. Because a couple of months ago, you fired a lot of people and now you want them back. So at this point, I'm calling you a bluff. Go ahead, shut it down. Shut it down. Give me a little vacation. Yes, it's upset not being able to get paid. But at the end of the day, you're not about to keep telling me like a ragtail doll. Okay? Shut it down. Thank you.
So now you've just heard the news that the United States government is shutting down in the next 2 days from the date of me making this video. And if what's happening in America right now doesn't change, millions of people are going to have their lives completely ruined. Now, to put it simply that even a dog could understand, funding for government operations is set to expire in just 2 days. That is, unless Congress passes a continuing resolution or full appropriations. However, the US judiciary warns that it may not be able to actually sustain operations beyond the date if no funding deal is actually met. And unfortunately, emergency funds are already running out. And now because of this, OMB have actually asked federal agencies to prepare for mass layoffs, mass firings, and mass reductions. And this is in comparison to just temporary furloughs if no legislation is actually passed. Now, this is horrific for a number of reasons, one of which being obviously that this is going to be impacting millions of Americans at such a short notice. And of course, even military families are going to be impacted by this, as they too are going to be placed potentially on furlough at best. Even national parks are set to close once this government shutdown actually takes place. And what's even scarier is that depending how long this government shutdown actually is, critical programs such as Medicare or other welfare or healthcare programs will be affected as well. And all of this is happening within 2 days of you watching this video. As if a deal is not made between the Democrats and Republicans within Congress by the 30th of September, yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen.
Okay, so I'm struggling to understand something. As you guys know, I've been critical of Democratic leadership, and I've said you guys should have spent the last 3 months reminding everybody that you don't have any control over government. You don't have the House, you don't have the Senate, you don't have the presidency. Therefore, you bear no responsibility if the government shuts down, period. The Republicans wanted total control. They have total control. So it's not on you guys, Democrats. You could just simply say, if you need our help, we're here, but it's on you. Now, Donald Trump has threatened that if the government shuts down, he's going to sabotage government, he's going to fire everybody, he's going to whatever. And nobody wants that. But why is it that Democrats are not out there, the leaders are not out there saying, okay, if you want to sabotage your government, I mean, that's pretty reckless, but you're the president in a shutdown. If that's really what you want to do, you want to sabotage the U.S. government because you're throwing a fit, because you have all the power, but you can't get your Republicans together? Okay. I mean, we don't want that. This is what the Democrats should be. We don't want it, but that's your choice. Instead, they're running around like chickens with their head cut off, scared that Donald Trump will do this. Like, I get it. We don't want him to do it, but it's his government. It's his responsibility. And if he sabotages it, he's going to look like a complete idiot and terrible. I don't understand it. Anyway, I've been through 100 of these, and all I know is that when the government shuts down, it's all about who takes the blame. And right now, Democratic leadership, who has no power, is actually doing a terrible job of putting the blame where it belongs, which is the president and the Republicans. I don't know. Seems obvious to me.
Friend, pick up the phone. Okay, so the government shutdown that's looming over our heads is not a government shutdown. It's a Dollar Tree dictator shutdown. And it's because the Democrats want to revise the affordable health care that they are trying to cut out. You see, what's going to happen if this goes through is that there will be a 10% increase at the least of your health insurance premiums, no matter who you are, okay? 10%. There will also be cuts to federal funding for health care, okay? All of these cuts are strictly to help Argentina with billions of dollars to Argentina because they misused their healthcare system. We're bailing out countries. We're bailing out countries when our country is in shambles. And what they're going to try to do, what they are trying to do is make it seem like it's more than this, and it's not. This is simply because of healthcare. The Democrats are saying we're not budging. And to invoke fear into federal workers is insane. And at this point, the federal workers are like, I don't give a shit. Shut the shit down. The Democrats should not budge. And I hope they don't. That's all I have to say. Thanks. Bye.
This is for any Democratic congressman out there with any balls or a spine. Shut it down. The government isn't functioning anyway. Everything we need is gone. $20 billion to Argentina? Who approved that? Who voted for that? How did Congress give up their Article 1 power? And Mike Johnson will not swear in the congresswoman from Arizona? What, she might vote to release the Epstein files that Peter Thiel is now in? Steve Bannon? Elon Musk? Shut the fucking government down. It's not doing anything good for anybody anyway. It is a total disaster. We are the embarrassment of the world. Do your jobs and shut it down. Find your balls, find your spine, and shut it down.
Donald Trump and the Republicans are threatening to shut down government because they rather take health care away from millions of people than keep the government open. Look, at the end of the month, the federal government runs out of money, and that means Congress needs to pass a new budget. But here's the thing. This budget fight is about saving health care for millions of people. Health insurance premiums are skyrocketing. Hospitals and clinics are closing. Cancer treatment for children is being canceled. Why? All because Republicans in Congress gutted health care like the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. But rather than address this health care crisis, the Republicans just want to shut government down. It's amazing the lengths these Republicans will go to make sure that a visit to the doctor is even more expensive. Republicans need to get serious, restore health care, and avoid a government shutdown.
I think when I say this, I speak for most people. Shut it down. Shut it the fuck down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Because this is just absurd that these people control everything. But yet here we are again, right? And we shall see if, these people have learned their lesson from the last debacle that they, did when it came to this, instead of letting them shut it down. But yeah, shut it down. We deserve a break. We, the people, deserve a break. I deserve a break. I deserve a vacation to just lay in bed for a week and do absolutely nothing. Not having to commute, nothing. Not having to use my brain, nothing. Not having to apologize about what's going on when people are contacting you, right? Having to say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I don't think people understand how emotionally taxing this entire year has been on people. I don't think people get it. But yeah, shut it down.
Why is the government always about to have a shutdown over the fucking financial budget planning? I literally don't understand how this problem occurs every year. And then the funniest part is when they do the audit, there's always $30 billion or something unaccounted for. What is the purpose of doing the budget if every year y'all blow the fucking budget? And I know y'all are thinking about the Republicans. I'm not even thinking about that. Because in my eyes, Democrats and Republicans are the same sides of the same coin, right? I'm thinking about my money, right? That money, because the government budget is our taxes. The government don't bring in no money. They're not making no motherfucking coins. That's our money that we pay into the system every fucking year. But when I hear government budget, I'm thinking, where my say-so at, right? Y'all talking about y'all putting the budget together. I feel like I need to be overseeing the motherfucking money. Because not only can y'all not decide on the budget every year, y'all blow the fucking budget. To me, it's so much deeper than planning the budget at this point. Keep sending all of our fucking money to Israel. You keep sending all our money, all these bullshit ass places, spending all our money on these initiatives that don't make any sense. Y'all keep working against the interests of the people. Why the fuck am I paying taxes? I'm being for real. I'm not. Tax season is coming again, Americans. And y'all gonna have to make some real choices. Some tough decisions. Because it's getting to a point. I don't think I could keep participating in the system. Fuck the budget. I'm trying to make sure y'all ain't got a fucking dollar to spend.
I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the government may be about to shut down. So basically, the funding for the government expire here shortly. I think September 30th. So basically, what happens is the Senate has to have 60 votes to pass the budget. there's not 60 Republicans. So that means some Democrats have to vote for this budget. The Democrats basically said, like, what we gonna get for our vote? We not just giving y'all our vote just because. Like, we got to negotiate, which is typical of the process because, you know, you have to negotiate to get these people vote. Trump said he ain't negotiating, just do it without the Democrats. Thing is, you can't do it without the Democrats because you need 60 votes. They don't got 60 votes. So now the White House and Trump them saying that, oh, well, if the government shut down, we're just gonna fire a whole bunch of federal workers, and they're instructing their agencies to create a mass firing plan. This is because the Republicans don't want to negotiate the budget, which they should do because they need Democrats to pass it. Yeah, and the reason that the government always is about to shut down is because instead of creating a budget and doing the appropriation process like they're supposed to, they just keep on doing continual resolutions, which is basically just kicking it down the road.
So what the Trump administration is doing right now with this shutdown threat isn't really about a budget. It's about control. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you can see exactly how they're trying to play the American people. Now, normally, right, when the government shuts down, workers are furloughed. They take a pause and then they come back once the shutdown ends. But this time, Trump's team is saying, no, no, no. Permanent firings. That's not a plan to save money. That's intimidation. It's a fear tactic because when people are scared of losing their jobs, they're less likely to speak up. They're less likely to push back. They're less likely to resist. That's how you control the workforce without passing a single law. Now, pay attention to this part. The Office of Management and Budget told agencies to cut jobs that don't, quote, align with Trump's agenda. That has nothing to do with whether the jobs actually helps Americans. It's about whether it benefits him. That's authoritarian psychology 101. It's saying your survival depends on the loyalty to one man instead of service to the country. And here's the bigger game. By threatening whole programs like education and healthcare and housing, even scientific research, Trump positions himself as the one who decides if you get to eat, if you get to keep your healthcare, if your kids get an education. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. When people start to feel like they have no power to change things, they stop trying. They stop fighting back. And that's exactly what leaders like this want. At the same time, he's still shouting, America first. But think about it. If you're cutting education for kids, health care for families, housing support for struggling communities, that is not America's first. That is Trump first. That's gaslighting. That's saying one thing while doing the opposite and hoping you're too confused to call it out. And at the heart of all of this is a narcissist playbook. Create a crisis, break the system, scare the people, and claim you're the only one who can fix it. It's chaos by design. And the cost doesn't fall on him or his billionaire friends. It falls on you, your job, your family, and your future. So here's the real lesson. Don't just watch the politics, watch the psychology. Every move is designed to make you afraid, to make you dependent, and to make you quiet. But once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And once you see it, you can call it what it is. Because at the end of the day, folks, if the president is willing to sacrifice your paycheck, your health care, and your child's education just to protect his own power, we have to ask ourselves, how much longer are we going to sit quiet and let fear control us? By holding jobs and health care and housing programs hostage, Trump positions himself like the provider, like the father figure who decides if you eat, if you have health care, if you keep a roof over your head.
So the government's going to shut down on October 1st because the Republicans need 7 Democrats to vote to pass the budget bill, and they refuse. So this is all the Democrats' fault. Wait a second. Do you want to pay $7,000 more for your insurance a year? No, of course not. Oh, cool. So we agree that we do not want the Democrats to vote for this budget bill. Wait, what? Yeah, see, the reason the Democrats don't want to pass this bill is that it just extends funding and does nothing to fix anything. This big, beautiful bill is going to destroy healthcare access. So they're holding strong to restore those healthcare cuts. Not what Fox News said. Oh, not done yet. The Democrats even tried to meet with Trump to talk about it, and then he canceled the meeting. So tell me again, who's blocking progress? Probably just the art of the deal. I mean, do you want 15 million Americans to lose insurance? Like over 300 rural hospitals to close? 500,000 healthcare workers to lose their job? No. Not to mention everything that happens when the government shuts down. I mean, I don't know. I think we need food inspections. Republicans just want to save this country money. Yeah, the last shutdown cost us $11 billion. So now that you understand that, do you think maybe you could call your reps and tell them to give back the health care they stole from us? Oh, it feels so good. I know. We call that embracing reality. Welcome back.
We all have to get behind the Democrats calling for a shutdown. And Trump supporters, I am talking to you too. We need the Affordable Care Act subsidies to become permanent. And over 50 conservative groups are urging Trump to let them expire. And let me tell you, this is one example of the math. A couple who are 55 years old, collectively bringing in $85,000 a year, currently pay, on average, in healthcare premiums, $7,500 a year. If these Affordable Care Act subsidies expire, their premium, are you listening to me, Trump supporters? Their premium jumps to $24,000 a year. So while the billionaire class continues to become ungodly wealthy under this administration, private healthcare insurers and all of their executives are going to make a shit ton of money because they'll get to charge you another $17,000 a year. Just a couple making $85,000 a year. A lot of us don't make that much. Who can afford to have 25% of their income go to healthcare premiums? We're just going to become uninsured. No one's going to be able to afford that. Are you ready for this, Trump supporters? Instead of owning the libs, can we not all get together and agree this is really, really, really bad and it's okay to jump sides one issue at a time? Can you do that to save yourselves? Please.
Tonight at midnight, Trump is shutting down the government. And yes, I said Donald Trump is shutting down the government. Why? Because he had no problem saying when the government was shut down during the Obama administration that Obama was shutting down the government because Obama was in control. Donald Trump is in control. Donald Trump has a Republican Senate. Donald Trump has a Republican House of Representatives. Donald Trump has his administration at the White House. And the talking points that the Republicans are putting forward is that Democrats want to give money to illegals and transgender people, which is just a blatant bullshit lie. What Democrats are actually doing is they're trying to push for an extension for the Medicare and Medicaid premiums to not skyrocket because some of us actually give a shit about people having access to affordable health care. Now, if you know someone on Medicare or Medicaid, then you should also be happy that the Democrats are putting up a fight for this.
All right. You all watched the video, right? You're welcome to my channel. If you're coming across my video for the very first time, my name is Maureen Chinam. So you all watched the video, right? Concerning the shutting down of America. That will be taking place 1st of October 2025, okay? I just pray the shutdown will be for the best, okay? But really, the shutdown will affect a lot of people. It will affect a lot of people. A lot of people will lose their jobs. Really, it will really affect the economy. And people are really complaining. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this Trump shutting down America? Do you think it is going to be for the best? Do you think it is going to affect them, or it will be for their best? Okay, let me have your feedback in the comment section. Okay, if you enjoy videos like this, please do well to like and don't forget to share.